Anyways, I want to talk about something today with you. I want to talk about broadcast messages versus autoresponders. Broadcast messages versus autoresponders. And if you don't, autoresponder sequences, more to the point. If you don't know what I'm talking about, very simply, I'm talking about email. Okay. I'm talking about email marketing. Broadcast message is where you have a list of people, maybe let's say 1,000, 2,000 people, and you send out a message. You write out a message and you send it out to all of them. And they all get it and they can all, click on your link and buy your stuff or whatever you want them to do. But you send a message right now to all those people. That's a broadcast message. An autoresponder sequence is where you pre-write a series of emails and schedule them to go out to your list as people join your list. So as people join your list, they will receive these messages one a day, two times a day, once every other day, whatever. And then with an autoresponder, you can also have like triggering actions where like, oh, if someone, clicks on this, or if someone does this particular action, that triggers another autoresponder sequence to launch for that particular person, right? So these are all automated messages. They autoresponder sequences, right? But I got a question the other day from someone. He was commenting on and I don't want to name this person because I don't know if they want me to name them or not, but they were commenting on a live stream video that I did, and they said, really great comments on motivation, discipline, and emotions. Really makes a big difference, and what should make your biz consistently move forward. Also, very interesting email on the difference between real world reality and online reality or perception thereof. This person's referring to an email that I wrote my list. If you're not on my list and you wanna know more about what this guy is talking about, just go to epicconversions.com. You can sign up for my email list. But anyways, he says, anyways, I'm one who also could really care less about AI. I was talking about AI in the email he mentioned. I'm not too sure how much to include or not include it in my present or future marketing online. But what I really would like to ask a question about is when it comes to your online biz, how much percentage of your emails are broadcast and how many are autoresponder messages to your email list, right? This person wants to know. And then he goes on to say, I'm not always sure how much I should email my list, right? So he's asking a couple different questions. He wants to know how much of my emails that I send out are autoresponder emails and how many of them are broadcast messages, right? And then he wants to know like how much he should be emailing his list. Um, First of all, in my view, this is not cut and dry. For different people and different businesses, it's going to be a little bit of a different answer. Um, but what I will tell you is that mine has changed over the years. Um, so that's the question he asked. Let me give you some context on it. When I first got started, I was trying to email my list, once a week, and also, beyond just this once a week email, I also had this kind of philosophy or this feeling that the autoresponder sequence was the key. Like I felt like, man, if I could just line up like an autoresponder sequence where like every single day of the year I would be mailing my list and I would be offering things every single day of the year. I would have like a year, like everything, every single day I would be offering. Like if I had 52 offers or I was promoting something every single week and I would be mailing every single day another message and it was all lined up in my autoresponder sequence and it was all autopilot. So now all I have to do is sit around and like put emails on my list, right? All I have to do is focus on list building because the actual email marketing, I have it all pre-programmed. It's all autoresponder sequenced out. My email marketing is autoresponder sequenced out for like an entire year. I don't have to worry about email marketing. all I have to do is list build, right? That was like my original like thought on it, right? I thought that was the way to go, right? Anything that I can do to automate processes, anything that I can do to make my life easier. Um, and I thought kind of this is how it was. This is how it was for me. Um, Over the years, I kind of changed my viewpoints on that, and that's based on results that I got. Results that I got with my autoresponder sequences versus my broadcast messages. And also, like, there's some intangibles to it. I can tell you that my broadcast messages do better than my autoresponder sequence messages, right? And I could give you a lot of theories on why that is, but I don't think it really matters why that is. I think that for all intents and purposes, what probably matters to you more is like what is better. Well, what I have found over the last 10 years is that my broadcast messages do better than my autoresponder sequence messages when it comes to sales, when it comes to transactional. Um, so why do I think that is the case? Why do I think that it's better? Well, I can only theorize why the broadcast messages do better than autoresponder messages. However, what I will say is the way I do it now is I have a simple welcome sequence when someone joins my list. What I was doing is when they join my list, I had them running through a 10 email sequence that kind of introduces them to my world, my way of doing things online. Um, Recently, I have closed down all of my offers. I wanted to go infrastructure zero and kind of like reset my product suite for Epic Conversions. Currently, I have one product available for Epic Conversions. That's my Epic Conversions Monthly. Epic Conversions Monthly is a paid newsletter. It's really cool. If you want to learn more about that, you just go to epicconversions.com, scroll down to the bottom, you'll see a link that says Epic Conversions Monthly. You can check it out. That's the only product I have on the market right now. Um, but so what I did was I mentioned that because what I did was I got rid of all my autoresponder messages. So my welcome sequence now, the only automated email I send out now is just one message that says, welcome to the community, welcome to Epic Conversions. So it's only one message in my autoresponder sequence, and everything else is broadcast messages. So the question is, why do I do that? Why do I do all broadcast messages and I don't have really much of an autoresponder sequence in place? Well, I already told you, like, I make a lot more money with broadcast messages than autoresponder sequences. So why? Theoretically, why does that happen? Why do I do it? I can give you 3 reasons why I choose to do it this way. And you got to make your own decisions, okay? Um, I come from that, Ben Settle camp of mail daily. Now, I don't always mail daily, but I believe in that logic. I believe in that philosophy. I believe in that ideology. I believe that proximity has a lot of power. I believe that, you have to constantly kind of stay in touch with your people. Um, Now, I email about 3 to 6 times a week. So multiple times a week, I'm emailing my list. It's not every day. I deviate a little bit from Settle's philosophy in that way a little bit. Um, I don't religiously mail every day, but I mail very regularly. 3 to 6 times a week is usually this week. This week's just gotten started. Like I'm doing a promotion for Epic Conversions Monthly right now. It'll be a 4-day promotion. I will mail twice a day for the next 4 days, including today. So that's 8 emails this week. But when I'm not doing a promotion, generally it'll still be 3 to 6 times a week. And usually every email I am promoting something. Now the way I write my emails, they're interesting. They're fun to read. They're not just like, just go here, buy this promo emails, right? They're, you can't email like, if you want to email as often as I email, you have to know how to do email marketing. You can't just like send go here, buy this emails. You can't just do hard promo emails all the time. If you want to email like I email, then you gotta if you want to email that often, you have to know how to write emails. Um, but I'm getting off topic. Why? Why do I email all broadcast messages and hardly any autoresponder sequence messages? Well, one, topical. It allows me to stay topical. What do I mean by that? What I mean is that, let's say I want to talk about a current event that's happening right now that just happened. I can do it because I'm sending a broadcast message out. Let's say I want to talk about, the something that is going on right now, like a holiday or like a special news event that I want to somehow, kind of twist to kind of like segue into something I'm doing. I can do that. I can be very topical with my subjects, right? Because I haven't like autoresponder sequenced things out for like a year. I can be topical. And topical matters, man. It matters to be, it allows you to enter that conversation that's already happening in people's minds, right? I can talk about a lot of things, but it's not necessarily that topical conversation that's happening in people's minds. Well, by focusing on broadcast messages, it allows me to be very, and it's funny because like the way I look at it is it allows me to be very mobile. In my mind, I'm mobile. I can move quickly, right? But it's not like actually moving quickly. It's just like I can pivot and talk about anything I want because I'm emailing right now. Like if I sent an email out this morning. I got another one scheduled for this afternoon. All right. And I told you I was going to probably mail 8 emails this week. Well, I don't have the other 6 emails written yet. I will write them either today or I will write them over the next few days, but they're going to be very topical. They're going to be very right now because I'm writing them in the moment. Okay. So, um, when you write a lot of broadcast messages, you can be more topical, right? And I think that matters. And I say that not just because I prefer that, but I also say that as a potential theory as to why broadcast messages have done better for me as far as converting prospects into sales. Um, what's the second thing? Um, so the second thing is like I live and die by content, right? I don't do a ton of paid advertising. Especially right now, I don't really do any paid advertising right now. It's all like free organic content. So I mean, I live and die by the content. I pull new leads into my business with my content. The content you're consuming right now, like it is my hope that you enjoy this content and you join my email list, right? So I pull people into my world a lot with my free content and with referrals. People refer other people to me because they've gotten benefit out of what I taught them. So they want other people to get benefit from me as well. So that is really me living and dying by my content. So what that means is I like to stay practiced. Um, I can't stay practiced with my content if I create all this content in advance, schedule it out for like a year, and then I just focus on list building or I just focus on, some other aspect and I don't focus on my email marketing. No, I want to stay practiced in my email marketing. I want to continue to write emails regularly. So I stay very practiced. I continue to grow as an email marketer. I continue to get better with the content that I write, right? So I stay practiced. And, writing broadcast messages allows me to stay practiced. That's the second thing. All right. Now the third thing is sales and event style marketing. Um, what I do largely and what produces a lot of sales for me is event style marketing. And this is what I call it, event style marketing. What do I mean by event style marketing? Well, I come from the world of product launching. One second, let me get a drink. I come from the world of product launching, and product launching is all about event style marketing. What do I mean by that? I mean that, when you launch a product, um, it is a new thing that just happened, right? It's like, hey, this is a new product. Like I just launched I just launched Epic Conversions Monthly, right? It's a new product on the market. It's brand new and it's an event. Like I want the launch to be an event. How do you make something an event? How do you make it cool? How do you build hype around it? There's a lot of ways to do that, and that's really kind of another. It's really another video. But briefly, I would just tell you that when you are doing event style marketing, it has a lot to do with building hype, and it has a lot to do with creating a sense of urgency. Like, hey, this isn't going to be forever. This is a right now kind of thing. You know. For example, my Epic Conversions Monthly Club that I just launched, it is like $30 to join it right now. It's a trial, $30 trial. Then it's $100 a month. Um, but you know, for the $30 right now, like it's like over $1,000 in bonuses. Right? It's a crazy amount of bonuses that I put in there. I put a ridiculous amount of bonuses in there. Even I hesitated at the amount of bonuses I put in there. I didn't even want to do it. Like I kind of went back and forth on it, but eventually I just said, yeah, you know what, let's do it. And I just went for it. But, you know, I don't know that it's going to stay that way. You know what I mean? Like this is more of an event. After these 4 days, I might take away that $30 trial because, you know, it's an event. That's what I'm good at. I'm good at event style marketing where like, you know, you have like this, you build some anticipation for the event, you hype it up, you launch the event, and when the event's over, something goes away. Either a trial period goes away or the product comes off the market, something disappears after the event, right? Well, this event style marketing is what I've done for many years, and that is where a lot of my money comes from. This kind of like, you know, autoresponder sequence marketing where you schedule an autoresponder with like a year's worth of emails or 6 weeks worth of emails or whatever. And it's just autopilot, right? It's just on autopilot where people can join, they can buy, whatever. Like usually for me, that produces kind of trickle in sales. You get 1 or 2, 3, 4, 8 sales, whatever a day, something like that. But it's not the same as like an event. It's not the same as like a big sale, you know? An event style is more like you get lots of sales in a very short period of time. Um, so anyways, yeah, that's what I'd say about that. Sales and event style marketing is really kind of what I specialize in quite a bit. Um, I don't find these evergreen promotions to really, you know, move the needle like an event does. I'm not saying you shouldn't have evergreen promotions. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying, like, as far as like moving the needle, pushing a lot of sales in a short period of time, like events work better for me. And, you know, I can do events every single month, man. I operate my business, you know, like a grocery store or something. You know, think about a grocery store. Grocery store's got stuff going on every single week. Every single week, a grocery store's got sales going on. They're bringing in new products, 2-for-1s, buy one, get one, 5 for 5, all kinds of stuff going on at the grocery store, right? But that's how they bring in new customers. That's how they compete with their competition. They're always having things going on. You know, it's not enough just to set up shop and to sell milk and eggs and bread, and you're selling the same stuff that people sell down the road. Why should they come to your store over this other store? You know what I mean? That's kinda how I look at it, you know? So, when someone asks me like this guy was asking me about, you know, how much broadcast messages versus autoresponder sequence, like, for me, I know autoresponder sequence sounds like the way to go because it's easy, it's convenient, you can just set and forget it, but that's not the way I do marketing, and I've had a lot more success doing, broadcast messages versus autoresponder sequences. Now, again, when he says, "How often should I email my list?" I say email early and often. You know, daily is not out of the question, of course. I'm doing a 4-day promotion right now. I'm emailing my list twice a day. Um, but as a general rule, I email my list 3 to 6 times a week. That's about average for me. Bare minimum, you shouldn't be emailing your list less than once a week. Bare minimum, no less than once a week. Um, Now, I think a caveat to that is you cannot understate or um you cannot overstate the effects of AI on your customers, okay? And what I mean by that is now everybody's an email marketer because they can all use AI to create emails. All right. And they can flood people's inboxes with AI driven content. It's no problem for someone to email their list every single day now because they can just have AI whip up an email for them. All right. So I mentioned that because it's changing the way people engage with content. Um, they're not going to like engage with your content quite as much or quite as well when they're being bombarded with other content. Okay. And I just mean that basically you have to create impact. So when you're doing your email marketing, whether it's broadcast messages or autoresponder sequences, you have to really try to differentiate yourself. I saw someone the other day talking about like using AI to write like notes or write like posts or whatever. And then like they just like basically feed it a template of all these viral posts, and then they have it like recreate these viral posts, and then all they got to do is like get rid of all the AI tells and just put their own humanized spin on it or whatever. I mean, look, if that's how you want to play it, you play it that way. In my view, you're better off writing one real email from you a week than writing an AI written email every single day. That's just my opinion. Um, One thing I don't find AI very good at is creating impact with people, like really resonating with people. I think there's a little bit of an uncanny valley effect that's still in place. And if it's not uncanny valley, it's still like this idea of just kind of like it's so run of the mill, or it's so like it's so saying exactly what you thought it was going to say. Like it's just saying so much of what you thought it was going to say that all the emails written by this thing all start to sound the same. They all kind of sound the same, whether they've changed the style and tonality or not. The subject matter is about the same. The ideas are about the same. The word phrasings are about the same. Um, it's just a lot of the same, and a lot of it is like what you would expect, right? Oh, here is a marketing email that came to me today. I wonder what this is going to be. And you open it up, and you got in your mind, you got an idea what you could expect, right? Well, AI is going to do that for you. It's going to deliver exactly what you would expect. The problem with that is with email marketing, you have to grab people's attention. They won't even open your email if you're not grabbing their attention, right? Well, let me reverse back on that just for a minute. I mean, they'll open your email if they know who it's from and they like you. If they know, like, and trust you and they think you're cool, then they'll open your email. But that has to be earned. What happens if they don't really know, like, and trust you and they don't think you're cool yet? They don't even know who you are. How do you earn that coolness? How do you earn that position where they actually think, hey, this person's cool, I want to follow what they do? How do you earn that? Well, you don't earn it by like, getting AI to do everything for you, okay? You earn it by being your true self, being the genuine article and getting better at what you do every day. That's how you earn it, you know? And look, I'm not just, talking here, man. I've had people on my email list for over a decade. Um, I think that, and I'm not saying that to brag. I'm just saying that, you're better off writing your own emails because emails are about creating impact. And yeah, if you mailed regularly, man, that was pretty impactful. The reason it was impactful is because it takes a lot of discipline to mail every day. It really does. It takes a lot of discipline to mail regularly. Do you have something to say regularly? Um, you should. You should have something to say regularly. And you say, "Oh man, I don't have anything to say. What am I going to say? I can't email that often." Well, look, maybe you don't know your market well enough. If you don't have anything to say and you can't say something, man, you should be able to say something every single day about your market, okay? It's your market. Every single day you should be able to come up with something to say. Like these live streams, I've been doing these live streams for you guys pretty much daily. And I always have something to say. And that is only because I understand my market. Like I know the people who are in this market, this online business space, the people who, um, are in my particular market. Like I know who they are. I know what they're about. I know what they're interested in, and I know what matters, right? Because I've been here for a while. But every single day I have something to talk about. And it should be that way for you too. So like if you struggle with things to say, then you probably need to study your market a little bit more. That's what I would say about that. But anyways, those are just some thoughts for you today on autoresponder sequences versus broadcast messages. Of course, I don't think this is a black and white. I don't think this is a black and white issue. I think the answer is a little different for everybody. But I can just give you my anecdotal experience, what I find to be real, and what has worked better for me over the years. Um, and again, I would just say if this video has been helpful to you, you probably owe it to yourself to check out my new paid newsletter, Epic Conversions Monthly. You can find it at epicconversions.com. That is all I got. I will see you in the next one. Peace now.